staying with us. Our Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs, Amina Mohammed, alongside her counterparts in the Ministry for State for Defense, Rachel Omamo, today led a conversation on women empowerment at the Kenyatta International Convention Center with the view of bringing to light challenges that women face in politics, public service, business, among other sectors. The session that lasted the better part of this morning explored ways through which women across the country could overcome hurdles that hinder economic empowerment and ways women can find self-actualization.
Challenges and impediments on this amazing journey to success that upcoming young women and girls face. They face this on a daily basis. And surprisingly, on every occasion, they rise to the challenge. And they strive to succeed, regardless of the odds. And today, we're living in even a greater challenging time. And we still respond to these challenges not with a sense of despair or powerlessness, but with courage and a firm resolve to master our circumstances and succeed. And though we speak of odds, I'd like to remind you that a lot of work has already been done to remove many of the obstacles that have stood in the way of self-actualization for women. As a matter of fact, a great deal was achieved under, and I would urge all of you to actually get to know it well, the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action.
And in that journey, many people have asked me, how do I get ahead? What do I do? What is the secret? What is the elixir? What is the answer? And on reflection, I only have one thing to say. Be yourself. Be yourself. There's no one better than you. There's just no one better out there than you. And you're good enough. If you start off from that premise that you're good enough, you're unique, there's something special about you.
Let's now bring in the CS in charge of Foreign Affairs, Amina Mohammed, joining us live from our City Center studio. Thank you, Madam CS, for joining us here on the broadcast. If you can just tell us more about Girls Matter and what, according to you, are some of the biggest challenges women face in this country, and any solutions for them in terms of more empowerment for them.
Well, thank you very much. From the clips that you've shown, you can see that was a very exciting session that we had today with the young women of this country, a cross-section of them, who we met, some for the first time and some not for the first time, but who wanted to speak to us, to exchange views with us, to learn from us as we learned also from them. And the idea was to see whether we could help overcome some of the hurdles that they face. Some we also had to overcome, and so it was easy to talk to them about how to do that. But I think that the biggest challenge that these young women face is the lack of opportunity. There isn't just enough opportunity for all of them out there. So between myself, CS Omamo, and the others who spoke this morning, we encourage them to be themselves, to see whether they could be the best that they could be even where they are right now, and to use the strengths that they have to rediscover themselves and to energize themselves. We discourage them, obviously, from wasting too much time on some of the things that would not help them to move forward and to make progress. We asked them to balance things so that even as they moved forward, they did not forget where they came from and what needed to be done to support their own communities. We also talked to them about the opportunities that are available in the programs that have been launched by government, including programs that ensure that procurement is reserved, 30% of procurement is reserved for women, the youth, and the disabled. So basically telling them also how to access some of these resources that have been put aside for them by government, whether it is the 30% or the Women's Empowerment Fund, or the programs that are run for some of the less fortunate in society, orphans. We had stories of young ladies who are supporting members of their community that were disabled. They wanted us to engage them and to see whether we could also, as women, get involved in what they were doing, but also show them how to access the opportunities that are out there for these young people. They talked about the challenges of the girl child in schools, where they couldn't access some of the the things that they needed, including a topic that has become very, I think, very current now, the whole issue of sanitary towels and all that. And we told them that, in fact, His Excellency the President had ensured that there was a budget line that would take care of that, and that although there may be challenges in rolling it out, but the resources have been set aside for it. So it was a very exciting, I think, exchange of views. We told them about our own journey, not just us, but other women that they looked up to, and told them that we hoped that they would do much better than we did. Because now, although there seem to be less opportunities, but the level, the playing field is much more level than it was when we were growing up.
All right, Madam Sis, I don't know what statistics say about education specifically, but how important is it as a foundation to empowerment of girls in this country, and is what the system gives them enough for them?
Well, absolutely. Education is the foundation. Is the foundation for access of opportunities that are out there, and we've also education is actually continuous. And in this century, with all the new innovations, the new technologies, that they must not stop learning, that it's something that must continue doing on a day-to-day basis. But you also know that the statistics show that more girls are getting enrolled in schools, more girls are graduating from university, more girls are in the workplace. There are more women now in our corporate world. There are more women in government, and of course there are more women in parliament. We talked about the 3 women governors and the 3 women senators as a historic milestone, but one that we must overtake very soon, because that is hardly enough. So it was a good conversation. It's part of a series of conversations that we are going to continue having with these young women. We are going to be mentoring them. I have both myself and CS Rachel Omamo have agreed to have sessions with them, even round tables, a few of them, to see how we can continue this process that we began today.
So a very fruitful session, as you say, but this session was in Nairobi. How do you reach the rest of the girls, the rest of the women across the country?
Well, you must start somewhere. You must start somewhere, and we started in Nairobi. This is the second session we're holding in Nairobi. And the expectation, obviously, is that we're going to roll it, out to the other parts of the country, to the other counties, to the other constituencies, to the other wards, so that we engage more young women than we have done today.
Allow me to ask you this, which has become a kind of a cliche question when, discussions on matters girl-child are ongoing. But there's a lot of focus and attention on the girl-child. And the boy child gets forgotten. Do you agree with that? Are you going to see a boys matter something?
Well, I think that there was a need. There was a need for that focus on the girl child, and I think we all agree, not just nationally, regionally, but also internationally, that there was a very distinct and dire need to focus on the girl child because of all the challenges that they faced, because of the disadvantages, and because even in the most developed of countries, girls were lagging behind and were not enjoying the same rights as their counterparts. So it was a good place to start. And I, as a mother of both girls and boys, know that you have to balance things out to make sure that nobody is left behind or left out. And so I think that this is a conversation that we must continue having.
All right. Is this an event or is it a process? Will it be an annual thing or will it be continuous from now?
Yeah, it's a series. It's a series of conversations we're going to be having. We've had only 2 so far, and it's not annual. It's not annual. It's going to be very frequent, and we hope to reach as many young women as possible. I think that, you've had this before, but anyone who ignores their women folk, right, doesn't actually, grow to their full potential. And we want our country to grow to its full potential.
Even as you have this very important conversation, Madam CS, there's a small matter of the 2/3 gender rule, which has been an Achilles heel, to be honest, for this country. What's your take on the 2/3 gender rule? Will it be realized anytime soon?
We will continue working on it. It has to be realized. It has to be realized. And we will continue making progress until it's realized. It's something that is on the front banner, I think, of any woman leader's to-do list. So it's something that we will continue engaging on.
All right, before I let you go, of course, there's a very big story that is currently developing in the region. That is the terror attack in the Somali capital, Mogadishu, that has left more than 250 people dead. What is the government doing in terms of helping out the Horn of Africa neighbor?
Terrorism is a global phenomenon. Every time it happens, it continues to shock, I think, the system. It shocks us both as individuals and as members of a global and regional community. And this attack on Somalia on Saturday was one of the biggest that the world has ever seen. To have over 270 people die from one attack and over 300 people injured is something that doesn't happen often. So basically, I mean, it's something that we are all trying to encourage the Somalis to get over. We have pledged our support. His Excellency the President has sent his condolences. He's also put in place a process of supporting Somalia. This morning, 2 aircraft left for Mogadishu with 11 tons of assorted medicines. Our hospitals have agreed to take in a number of the injured, and the planes that have gone will be coming back with about 20 injured people who would then be admitted in our hospitals. We have more space than that for them, so we'll continue engaging them to know what their priorities are. Right now, their priorities are obviously, the medicines and helping, relieve some of the facilities that they have, the hospital, facilities that they have in Mogadishu that are completely and totally overwhelmed. And that's why we will be bringing back, some of the injured back to Nairobi for treatment. And we've agreed that we'll continue talking to make sure that whatever we can do as a country, we'll continue doing. This morning at 9 o'clock, we launched the Kenyans for Somalia initiative with the Kenya Red Cross, with Safaricom, and with the Somali Embassy here. The pay bill number will be availed to all the media houses so that you can help us reach out and get as much support as we can for the people of Somalia. They have obviously the immediate needs, they have the medium-term needs, and they also have the needs of those that must rebuild their lives. So I'll be just urging everybody to contribute as generously as possible. Charity, they say, begins at home, and so we in the region who consider this our home must be the ones that begin the process of supporting and healing Somalia from this atrocious terrorist attack.
All right, there are many Kenyans living in Somalia and Mogadishu. Are there any Kenyans, to the best of your knowledge as a ministry, that were affected by this attack?
Well, we're still waiting for additional information. The information we have right now is quite scanty, so we're waiting.
All right. All right, thank you so much, Madam CS. That is Ambassador Amina Mohammed, the Cabinet Secretary in charge of Foreign Affairs, talking to us about what's happening in Somalia and, of course, the girls' matter. Thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast.